Good afternoon. It's July the 13th in the year 2001. I'm Mayor Livingston, and this afternoon, Tom Bush and I, on behalf of the Southwest Georgia Regional Library, are interviewing Mr. Willard Vickers on his experiences during World War II in France. Willard, start with us and tell us, I believe you told me you were 19 years old when you didn't enlist, you were drafted.
Yeah, I was drafted in there on October the 15th of 43. I was inducted into the military at Fort McPherson, Georgia.
That was from your home in Grady County?
Mm-hmm. Of course, I was rented in Atlanta at Fort Mac, inducted into the military there, sworn in. Then I was shipped from there to Macon, Georgia, down at Camp Wheeler. And at Camp Wheeler, I took 13 weeks of basic training. I was really trained.
Well, that was 3 months. But were you assigned then to a unit? That was?
No, I was given a 9-day delay en route. I came home for a few days, and I went and caught the train, went to Fort Meade, Maryland. And Fort Meade, I stayed there. We were staging area there. I stayed for about 2 weeks in that area, and then I was shipped from there to Boston, Massachusetts.
Well, you got married when you came home. And you told me you were married when you went overseas.
Yeah.
Okay. And you went from Fort Meade to Boston?
To Boston there, and that was a staging area for POE.
Port of Embarkation.
I loaded on the ship and went to France. I went to England. And we went over in the largest, at that time, was the largest convoy that ever crossed the Atlantic. And I landed in England at Liverpool. And from Liverpool, I went to, the ship was crossed England over to the English Channel. We were going to put in a tent city there, right on the English Channel. That's where we stayed till the day of the invasion.
Well, you stayed the whole time in that one tent city? Well, did y'all practice any? Or did you learn how to get in and out of landing crafts or anything?
Nothing like that. We practice was met with weapons. We only fired weapons and such like that, because we were only there, 10 days or 2 weeks.
Okay. Now, I believe you told me you carried at that time just a regular rifle.
Rifle,
30 caliber rifle. And you moved on that then toward did you know what was coming up? I mean,
well, the morning of June the 6th, we were awakened by an aircraft flying overhead, going over France. And shortly after that, they called us out and told us to get our equipment all ready and line up. So we did, and of course, this took several hours to get it, and then we were loaded into trucks and carried to Plymouth. We went to Plymouth, England, there where we were loaded on the ship later on.
This is December the 6th. I mean, I'm sorry.
Well, then
June the 6th.
June the 6th, and we got there late that afternoon, and we spent the night, and then the next day we were called up and issued ammunition and told that we were headed for France. And we were loaded on a ship, and we went across the English Channel. That was on the 7th. And the 8th, we unloaded over there out in the channel there onto landing bar.
You climbed down the netting into the landing bar.
Cargo net, you had to climb down it, fully loaded.
You had your pack on your back.
You had everything you had was on your back, your weapons, your ammunition. While we were on this landing bar, on this ship, but just before we loaded onto the landing bar, we were told to load our weapons, and we loaded our weapons because we knew where we were headed. And we Everybody, when they hit the beach, was fully loaded and ready to fight.
They told you to put a clip in your rifle?
Huh?
Okay. Well, when you got off in the surf, I mean, did you go up on the land?
He went just as far as the landing barge would go, and they dropped the front, and we went off of that.
Okay. Well, now, what unit were you assigned to at that time?
Well, when we left the landing barge there, and we went up a road, approximately a half or 3/4 of a mile, just won't see how far. And we they told us to get outside the road because of aircraft strafing and all. And they carried us up. I didn't know where I was going. Had no earthly idea. And finally someone come and got a number of us, and we went into an area where there was some troops out on the front. It was late in the afternoon. And there we were assigned to a different company and a platoon. And we were told to get in foxholes. Of course, we didn't have to be told that very much, because we got foxholes automatically, because there was live ammunition being spent. And I don't recall when I really found out what outfit I was in.
Well, now, were you a casualty replacement at that time?
I was a casualty replacement.
When you came on the beach, and that was Omaha Beach,
Mm-hmm.
what did the beach look like?
All type of equipment, demolished, holes. It was just, well, it looked like this tornado had been through there.
Had they gotten the boys off, I mean, the bodies and all that?
I don't recall at this point as seeing any bodies. Maybe I was seeing one or two. I don't know, but it wasn't fighting. We wasn't far off from the beach. You could hear it, the weapons being, artillery and all going off from the beach.
And you went on back, and you were at that time. They told you what platoon to get in. And you didn't know anybody in that platoon, or did you?
Didn't know anyone. Was one or two fellows that went in with that.
Was that when you were in a foxhole and the fellow in the foxhole was shot? Was that when you got wounded? You were on the line 32 days, I believe you told.
No, we went various places. We fought in various places, moved from one place to the other. You didn't stay in one area all that length of time, because you had to eat. Mm-hmm. Of course, we had K ration and C ration, but you had to rest some too. So you constantly from one area to another changing positions. And you, one of the places I went to was, we were up on the crest of a hill. This was all on about first day of July, somewhere in there. I can't recall the name. And this Indian boy, we called him Chief. That's all I knew him as, was Chief. He and I was in the same foxhole. And up where this foxhole was at, there was a tree up on the hedgerow, grown up in the hedgerow there. And there was an artillery gun right behind us back there, and it was firing low trajectory shots, just lobbing it over the hill at the Germans over there, over the hill from us. And I suppose the gun shifted somewhat when they were during the course of firing, and they hit the top of that tree. We were over that foxhole where we was at. It was at nighttime. And that shell exploded there, and my buddy, the chief, so to speak, he was hit in the leg, and his leg was badly cut. And of course, he was gotten out.
Did they save his leg? Or I believe you told me you never
You don't know whether they save them or not, because when you were in a foxhole up there, they get them and carry them back. You don't know what happened. That's just something that you don't know.
And this was around July, the 1st of July, something like that. And was this before you all liberated St. Lo?
Yeah, this was before St. Lo.
And you didn't get wounded until after St. Lo?
No, I got wounded before St. Lo.
Okay.
Yeah, I got wounded on the 11th of July, and when St. Lo fell the 18th.
All right. And you were in the 115th Regiment?
Uh-huh.
And that was the Major Howard's regiment?
Yeah.
Okay. The Major of St. Lo. Well, tell us about you getting wounded. Now, that was,
Well.
And they didn't send you home. They sent you got your well and sent you.
Get me back. Well, on the night of the 10th, we were in this draw, and they had picked me and another fella and put us on outposts off like that, about halfway between us and the Germans. And we were, of course, we were observation. And during that part of the night, the Germans started shelling us. And they laid down one barrage. I mean, they laid a barrage on us. Well, things got to getting so hot around there. Me and this boy got kind of antsy pantsy. So we got out of this foxhole. We run and jumped back in the draw where the company was supposed to be in. And we jumped in on a bunch of Germans. And the Germans, we first got in there, we run upside the hedgerow on the other side over there, standing there, we were talking low. And the first thing I knew, a bullet hit me in the chin, knocked me down.
You saw the Germans, though. You knew there were Germans there.
Oh yeah, the flares going up. Yeah. But we didn't know it was Germans at the first point, before I got shot. But a flare went up after I got my senses back, and I saw it was Germans. And they said, the bullet that hit me, one hit my buddy, and he fell across my legs. And he tried to get up, and every time he tried to get up on his arms, they'd shoot him. And finally, about the fourth or fifth shot, he lay still on my legs, and I snatched my feet out from under him and jumped up on the hedgerow. When I hit the top of the hedgerow, bullet hit me in the foot. And I rolled off. It just felt like just like you'd done something like that. And I rolled off of this hedgerow and started crawling. You don't make a big target crawling, you do standing up. And while I was crawling across there, this German with this burp gun got shooting at me. And he plowed up a lot of dirt. Finally, I got back to another hedgerow and got over it. And when I got over it and crawled out a short distance, I seen a group of people out there from me. I could hear them talking. So I hollered at them. And they told them I was American, but they didn't want to believe me. So it was an artillery gun. They had expended all of their ammunition.
They were Americans, and they had shot
They had shot every bit during that barrage. They were shelling the Germans too. So when they had shot all the ammunition up, they were loading up and going out, going to leave. And when I run up on them and I called them, and they didn't want to come out there and help me. So I finally told them, I said, fellas, I got to have some help. Now, they wanted me to walk up, and I told them I couldn't walk. My feet, my leg, I was hurt in the foot, and I couldn't walk. I told them to somebody come out and help me. And he said, well, so get up on your knees. At first they were going to leave, and I told them, I said, fellas, if you try to leave me, I'm going to shoot you. I said, you make in mind that we're going to do some fighting here. Well, they didn't want me shooting at them. So finally, two of them came out there, and one got on each side of them, and they put me in a Jeep. We went back to the back there and to an aid station, and from there the doctor back there doctored me, and later on they loaded me onto a C-47 and sent me back to England.
Well, that's when the guy told you that you'd shot, the guy, you were shot in the
I had
shoulder.
been hit in my shoulder.
And you didn't know it.
I had no
And the
earthly
guy
eye.
told you that he shot your clothes off.
He just dead rid on my clothes. And he didn't, he said, well, you've been hitting my shoulder. I said, what? He said, you've been hitting the shoulder too. I said, well, it didn't hurt bad, so I'll tell you that. But anyhow, it's listed in the discharge now.
But you got hit on the chin and on the foot.
Went through this foot here and hit me on the chin there.
And then they sent you back to the,
Sent me back to England, to the hospital over there, and they did surgery on me. I stayed there a few days. And from there, they sent me to another hospital. I stayed there, a couple of weeks. Then I went from there, I went to a field hospital. That's when I went to Warwick.
and you always wanted to go back to Warwick.
I always wanted to go back to Warwick.
Yeah.
But I stayed there at Warwick then till November. And in November, don't recall the exact date, but I know when we crossed it, I went back to Plymouth, and they loaded me on a ship, and I started back across the English Channel, going to La Havre. It was Thanksgiving Day. Now, you could just figure back then what Thanksgiving Day it was, Thursday, so you can figure Thursday from any time. But I ate Thanksgiving dinner on the ship going back to La Havre. I went to La Havre, the staging area there, and then they re-outfitted me with rifles, helmets, all of the necessary equipment to fight with. And then they loaded us on a 40 and 8.
Well, a lot of people won't know what a 40 and 8 is. Tell us what a 40
40 and 8 is a box car that has been shot all to pieces, and there's holes in it from one end to the other.
It really was left over from World War I. Those 40 men and 8 horses.
Yeah, that's where they got the name from, 40 men and 8 horses.
And they loaded you in that to take you back to the front.
We got on that roller coaster. Of course, the railroad track was just up and down and what have you, where they'd been blown out so much and put back.
And you were reassigned to the 29th. Oh.
I went back to the 29th Division. I got during the course of the trip back to Germany is when the Battle of the Bulge took place. Fortunately, they were to the east of us, and we missed the Battle of the Bulge. We went up to the northern part of the battle area, up there where the British was, and I got there the Christmas Eve day. Late in the afternoon, went back in and reported into the company. And they assigned me back to the same company, same platoon, and the same squad.
Well, very many of the guys there that were there when you were there the first time.
There wasn't a soul there that was there when I was at the beach.
You once told me the 29th Division took more casualties. They actually lost more men than the one that...
Well, according to the history book in which I have at the house, it's 29th Division suffered more casualties than any division during the war. Now,
I've heard that, yeah. Now that's the blue and the gray. I mean, they
blue
got
and the gray,
No. Well, when you got up down the front, I believe it was January the 1st or something like that.
First day of January, New Year's Day, is when the German planes came over. We was out in the field there.
And you had a BAR.
They got a BAR.
That's an automatic rifle. A lot of folks won't know what a BAR. Tom might know, but...
If you look on this discharge, you see it wrote on there. It's my MOS.
Yeah. But tell us about the German planes coming over.
We were in the process early in the morning. Sun was up, and it was just as bright as it could be. The field was about a foot deep in snow. And we kept hearing these planes, and we finally got the direction in which they was coming, and it was a huge, large scope of woods out front, below us there. And I heard, we heard and we detected that that's the direction that the planes was coming from. So everybody got ready. And they came over those trees, and they was about 300 or 400 feet in the air. That's all. So every one, there must have been 300 or 400 of those around there, started shooting. Rifles, BAR, 50 caliber machine gun, you just name it, they had it. And we shot down about half of them when they went over the first time. And when we knocked so many of them down, they turned around and started back, and we shot every one of them down before they got to the woods.
A small arms fire, I mean.
A small arm, what you could call it, 50 caliber.
Yeah. Well, 30 caliber is pretty good size. I mean,
Oh yeah, you can tear up something with a 30 caliber.
And you said one of them crashed and the guy was on the wing?
The last one that went down was over there near the woods. When he hit the ground, he was standing on the wing. He gotten out of it, but he didn't ever use his parachute.
In other words, he was on the wing when it crashed?
He was standing on the wing I know he was gonna bail out at what his mind was, but
He never made it.
he made it to the ground where he was standing.
Was he killed when he hit the ground?
I don't know where he was killed. I'm sure he was, but he was 300 or 400 yards before I was there.
Okay, but then you all assigned to the British Army.
We were assigned to the British Army during the Battle of the Bulge. The British 13th Army, we were assigned to it.
Now, that's when you started but soon after that, the Bulge was over, and you started crossing the Ruhr River. Was that the first one you crossed? You told me.
Well, when we got it was in February, along about the 24th or 5th, something like that, after the Battle of the Bulge had been stopped, we crossed the Ruhr River. And of course we crossed it on alligators. The Germans had broken the locks up above us up there, the dams that flooded the river, and the rivers were up real high. So we were loaded in alligators and carried across the...
And alligator is somewhat of an amphibious tank or something like that.
It's a tank that's designed to carry troops, and the tracks has cups on it for cleats. And they're large tracks. They come clear to the top of it.
But now, you didn't, the Rhine, when did you cross the Rhine?
I crossed the Rhine in April. Long about the 1st of April, we crossed the Rhine. I didn't do any fighting at the Rhine up there. We stopped at Jülich there, so fortress city there, across the river. Then after they had taken the Remagen Bridge and got everything established up there, and they had built a pontoon bridge across the river, and we loaded in trucks and went up there, and we crossed the river on a pontoon bridge.
Well, did you fight in the Hurtgen Forest? I think I asked you that, because that was further south. Okay.
No, from there we got out into open country over there, and we started walking and taking them the little towns and villages, what have you, and some large town. We took Mönchengladbach. And once at Mönchengladbach, there we are. There was there was a DP camp there.
Displaced person?
And forced labor. And so we took that town, and that was Gold's hometown. Gold, the propaganda minister. And from there we went on up, and we went all the way to the Elbe. When we got to the Elbe River, we stopped there, and the Russians met us. And then we loaded on truck and went to Bremen. Bremerhaven.
You said, I asked you the other day, I said, where were you when the war ended? You were waiting down the Elf River for the Russians when
See, the war is over with then. Now, the exact date of the surrender, I don't recall. Well, we was there when we was at Bremerhaven.
but for the war, there wasn't any fighting going on then.
No, we were just sitting around there twiddling our thumbs.
Well, I know this, the other day you told me, and about the boy from California who asked you to read the letter. And that just, I asked you to do this, I know it's not a good, but that's the way war is, because you and I talked about it. But tell us about that if you can.
Well, this fellow from California, this was up before we crossed the Ruhr River. We had pulled back and we were getting baths and writing letters and what have you. And this fellow, Stover, from California, came up to me and asked me, told me he wanted to talk with him. And whenever I sat down and he handed me a letter, and I really didn't want to read it, but he insisted that I read that letter. And when I read it, it was a Dear John from his wife. This gentleman was about 35 years old. He had a son, 12 years old, he said. And his wife had wrote him and told him she'd found someone else. I never had anything, I don't believe it, upset me any worse than that did. To think that that woman would do that man that way. Even if she was going to do it, she didn't have to tell him at that point in time. I believe I could have run that woman's neck if I could have got her. Anyhow, when we crossed, that was just a few days before we crossed the river, Ruhr River. And the day we crossed the Ruhr River, we got pinned down with machine gun fire and snipers. And this fella was out there, another fellow lay inside there, and we were behind in the little embankment there. And the man inside of me punched me, and I looked, and he pointed to out there to Stober. And Stober was laying behind a log, and had his foot straight up in the air pointing at it with his sniper, trying to get that sniper to hit his leg so he could get out. Well, I don't know what happened to Stover. I believe it probably was the next day I missed him, and I asked someone about it, and they said he got it. Now that could indicate that he got wounded, or he could have got killed. I never did know what happened to him, but I always I've thought about that thing many times.
Well, I asked you if you were ever scared. You said only once. When I got there, and I was scared the whole time.
That's exactly right. I mean, you see, people say they don't get scared. Either they are a total idiot, or they ain't got no sense. And I was halfway between. I was scared.
When you went back, 1994, that was a 50th anniversary. You went back to Omaha Beach, and you said that didn't find anybody that you knew there.
I didn't run across a soul than you.
There was a big crowd there.
Well, there was in the group I was in, there was 250 of them.
From the division?
From 29th Division. Now, there was some from the 115th and 116th. There was some from the 115th, 175th. But I never found one from Company B. Not the first one, Company B was there.
Well, tell us too about when you went back, and I think this would be well that we remembered, about the little kids that come in particular St. Lo, and holding your hand.
In St. Lo, we were in a parade there. They were parading us. Like we said, the Germans, the French treated us royally. They rolled out the red carpet to us there in St. Lo. It seemed that there was nothing they could do. It was too much. And we was at this parade, on this parade there, and we went up there with Major Lowe, at St. Louis, Howell.
Howie.
We went up there for Howell, we went to this monument they erected for him up there, and there was a huge number of children. And whenever we lined up for the parade to go down that street about a mile, when we started out, this group of children, 2 children walked out. Each veteran, one got on one side and one on the other, and they walked us with us all the way through that parade. There was hundreds of children there.
But it was one on each side of you.
One on each side. I never felt so proud in my life that I did that.
You should have.
I felt honored that those children did that, and each one of them gave, I don't know if all did or not, but the 2 that was with me gave me a little present. And I cherish it today.
You should. But you stayed in the Army one more year after
Yeah.
you were enlisted for 1 year, and then you came back home.
I wound up in California, Fort Road, and I got my discharge in March of 47.
And you were ready to get out then, I guess.
I was more than ready to get out.
Well, Willard, on behalf of a grateful nation, thank you for everything you've done, and thank you for doing this. And is there anything else you'd like to add? That we covered most of this other afternoon.
I don't know of anything. I'm not one given for talking. Well, I talk.
You've done great, though. We have done many, but I told Tom that you were going to be the top of the line.
Well, I don't know about that others. I'm sure that they could have done much better.
No, but we really appreciate it, and thank you again for coming and making part of this history.